Hi, I'm Cassie Walker. I am a licensed clinical social worker, trauma therapist, activist, writer, and gamer. Um, and I'm teaming up with Team Salvato to share my story for Mental Health Awareness Month. I first got into games as a kid, like a lot of us. I think my first games were educational computer games. I think board games were even before that. And it's kind of stuck ever since. For me, games, video games, tabletop games are not only part of my mental health journey, but also part of how I help other people with their mental health journeys as a therapist. And so I integrate gaming into my practice. And so games are kind of that piece that help to ground me and also connect me to people both professionally and personally. Being able to become more part of gaming communities and fandom and everything has meant a lot to meet more people, especially more Black nerdy gamers who are like me and understand that piece of my life. I feel most like myself whenever I have space to be creative and loud, and but also to be able to be soft. Feeling like me is when I get to hang out with people and play the games I love and be absolutely completely extra about them, playing Dead by Daylight and just screaming, yelling at killers or yelling at survivors. If I'm playing killer, I'm actually a killer main to the chagrin of some of my friends. But being able to joke and have that fun and experience all of the emotions, the successes and the anger when somebody's playing horribly, um, is me. It's the ability to have my whole self present and not just tolerated, but loved and accepted deeply. Tabletop is another one of just creating all different kinds of characters, wacky characters, dark characters, romantic characters, aromantic characters, um, and then just having a wild time and learning things about ourselves through them, whether it's a video game RPG or a tabletop RPG. I, like a lot of people, started out with the idea that vulnerability was weakness, and it really impaired my ability to have deep, close relationships with people. As I've healed and as I've explored myself and come to love myself more, vulnerability has instead meant connection. It's meant this ability to discern who I can trust with my vulnerability and revel in those relationships. When I am sharing with people or when I'm not doing well and people witness that and still are there for me, is incredibly vulnerable, but also incredibly beautiful, because those are the people that I know are gonna ride for me, are gonna take care of me and allow me to let go of all of that, like, I have to do it myself ness that I built up over having to do it myself. The gaming community has a lot of, as with any community, has a lot of rough points. There are actually a lot of examples of where I have not felt supported by the community, and I feel it every time Black folks talk about issues in games, and people are like, oh, well, it's a game. Every time somebody's like, there can't be any Black elves. I think the way people view femme folks and women and trans folks also fuels a disconnect that doesn't feel very good for me, and that sometimes makes me step back from broader like fandom and gaming as like a whole versus my corner of fandom and gaming is something that I'm I with a lot of other people am working on trying to change and better so that we can be a better community and can be more supportive. Sometimes that I have felt supported and understood by my gaming communities and fandom communities. A lot of times it's when something goes wrong. So I play a lot of Dead by Daylight these days. I also play a lot of Stardew Valley, but particularly with Dead by Daylight, there's one killer who their ethos when you're playing, the sounds and the sights and everything of what they do, they actually simulate when I'm having psychotic symptoms, it very closely mimics those. And so um, I have felt so supported when I play with people and I'm playing to have a good time and to like release from the day. And I'm like, I can't do this. And we take the DC penalty and they leave with me um, to support me in that. They're like, yeah, no, this killer is really rough. And we're just not going to do this if it's going to hurt you. And so that has felt really supportive and affirming for me. As I mentioned before, my primary job is as a trauma therapist, and so that's really heavy. And can be really heavy. It's really rewarding, but sometimes I just need to let off steam. And I have found that one of the best things is to just go in and get video game and kill people. Um, it is so cathartic and it feels so good to just go, you know, on a rampage and smash these buildings or whatever. Let go for a little while so that I can come back fresh and process um, how things are and what's going on and the things that I heard throughout my day. I didn't know that I would like games like Stardew Valley as much as I do. It's just nice to log into a game and just do cute farming things and maybe go in the mines and fight that way, not always hyper realistic violence. Sometimes it's just cartoon 8-bit violence. I got a sit-stand desk, and I've also found that like there are certain games I do way better if I'm standing, which was really unexpected. And it's like, oh cool, self-care and an enhancement to my game. Dope. Some of the biggest things I've learned on my mental health journey is that I don't have to do it alone and that no one should do it alone. We're a very communal species, even if a lot of our societies now, especially in the West, don't endorse that. Vulnerability is part of our power, and connecting and being with people is so important to healing. It's absolutely vital. And I think that the kind of either or of our game's good, our game's bad, and like, oh, you're playing it wrong or you're playing it right, like, don't actually serve us. And that sometimes the most control that we can have is to just let go of all that rigidity and just have fun with the people who we care about and who care about us in return, and the people who we love.